Remember all the fun and joy of your favorite game or childhood toy. If only you could feel that way again, again. Well, you don't have to go back in time, 'cause Nick and friends can help you find long lost treasures you once loved. Let's go hunting nostalgia.
Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead back here where we need you? Here where we need, yeah, we tease 'em a lot, 'cause we got 'em on the spot. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to Hunting Nostalgia, and welcome to the Hunting Nostalgia Studio. For the very first time ever, I'm inviting you in to take a look at all of my ridiculousness. Where do I bring all of that stuff back to? This is it. This is the place, the Hunting Nostalgia Studio. And as you can see, everything's out, you know? I leave everything out. I have 3 kids, and I am begging them to break something. I'm begging them to play with those toys in the Hunting Nostalgia Studio, but they could absolutely care less. It drives me crazy. Every once in a while, I'll catch them playing with something, looking at something, you know, and that's what it's all about. That's how it truly all starts, you know, but that's what it is. I leave them all out because they're toys and they're meant to be played with. But where it all began, you know, that's where it all begins, with a little bit of an interest. And where it all began for me was the LJN Wrestling Superstars. And that is what I have in this 1970s, late 70s curved curio cabinet display. Now, this is a secret. I don't tell everyone this, but I love Downton Abbey. I love it. And I wanted to replicate a library, you know, the look of the library. I wanted to replicate that, but fill it with ridiculous 80s toys, you know, and that's what I'm doing here. Every display that I have is also vintage, and late 70s is considered vintage. But for me, this is where it all began. The LJN Wrestling Superstars. Everybody wanted to make Hulk Hogan. Every single toy company in the world wanted to make that guy right there, because they knew how many crazy kids like me would be obsessed with buying the figures. Hulkamania was running wild, brother. It was the early 80s. It was the biggest thing in the world. You know, sports was everything. Everything. Somebody would say Bo Jackson, we'd say Hulk Hogan. Michael Jordan, oh, we have Hulk Hogan. You know, you always knew if there was something bad. If something bad was going down, you knew was gonna come flying down and save the day. Like always. He always did. You know, and this is where it started for me. The LJN Wrestling Superstars. And I would buy them at none other than the Hills Department Store. And I'm not going to show you everything in the Hunting Nostalgia Studio right away, but I do want to show you my Hills buggy display. Let's take a look. I'm having an absolute blast getting to show you all my toys in the Hunting Nostalgia Studio. But this episode is not about me. It's actually about another collection, my buddy Chevy. We're gonna go see his collection in a few minutes. He's also a proud contributor to the Card Back Cavern. He gave me an Empire Strikes Back card back, the 2-1B healer droid. You remember the droid? It's the one when Luke Skywalker is in the diaper floating in the water. That healer droid, he signed the card back, and now it's a part of the Card Back Cavern. We're going to go check out his collection. Really cool things. A lot of different stuff, which I love. A lot of variety of different things. Primarily Star Wars, like I said. But there is one thing that really was nostalgic for me from my kindergarten days. An item I've never seen before. Something I've never even seen anybody have any piece of these particular kindergarten items, but they're really, really neat. But I want to show you a little bit more of the Hunting Nostalgia Studio before we go. Right here, this is the Hills Buggy display. I do also use this. There's a practical use to this. You've seen it. I bring this to toy shows. I bring it to Target, Giant Eagle. People think that I'm insane. But this buggy moves better than any buggy out there, I'll tell you that much. And it is the display that I feel is the most unique. I don't think anybody else has it. Everything's vintage here. All of my displays are vintage. this one included. This is a 1940s jewelry display case for a store. And whenever I got it, it was so disgusting. It was absolutely covered in this thick, super thick spray paint, silver spray paint. It was awful. And I sliced it all off with a razor blade. And now it looks like this. You know, I think it's back almost to its original form. I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, I've never refurbished anything before. I've never fixed anything. There was a broken corner here, and my daughter came up with the idea actually to put resin like a keychain around it so it doesn't slice anybody, you know, but I have no clue what I'm doing, but I do it for the toys. No, I mean, yeah, I do. I do it for the wrestlers and the toys, but I don't know what I'm doing. I've ruined so many things. I mean, this room even, this studio, I built with my bare hands by myself because I wanted this room. I had no clue what I was doing, but here it is, you know, and here this is. So the point of the buggy, whenever I got it, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But then I thought, here we go. Boom. It's a perfect display. It's just like a shelf. It's just like a bookshelf, cabinet, curio display, anything. But I try to find items that are from Hills, you know, and then I put them in the buggy. It's getting a bit full. My buddy Rich recently just stopped over. I'm not a car collector. I don't collect cars, never have, and I never will. But he stopped over with this 1995 year in review Hot Wheels set. The entire Hot Wheels set from 1995. Because Hills is where the toys are. The anti-inflation store. Hills, toys for toy prices. How cool is that? I absolutely love the fact that my friends know, oh wow, found something from Hills. Nick would love this, you know. Last episode of Honey Nostalgia, found this Joker watch, Hills price tag. Berserk, the Atari game, for under $1. Under $1, you were able to buy Atari games at Hills in Department 68. How cool was that? Oh, Chevy. I almost forgot. The card back, the 21B Healer Droid, it has one of the rarest tags of them all. One of the original Hills yellow price tags. It is awesome. All right, I've talked enough. We got to get over to Chevy's house. Let's go. What do you say? Wow, holy moly. Like, I know you're only seeing a little corner of this basement right now, but wow. So my Uncle Joe, like I told you before, he told me about his friend Chevy. He's like, man, you gotta see Chevy's collection. And tons of people tell me that. Tons of people are like, oh, come check out my collection. And most of the time it is spectacular. But this time, my Uncle Joe, he is the uncle of my 5 that gave me the appreciation for Star Wars toys. So I knew that his buddy Chevy was going to have something awesome, but I wasn't expecting this. I was not expecting to walk down. I mean, there are arcade games here. There are board games. There are 1/4 scale Ninja Turtle movie replicas. This place is unbelievable. And look at this. These are all pristine. Like, there is no way a sweaty little creep played with these, because they are, almost all of them, immaculate Star Wars figures. And some odd stuff, which is what I love, like this here, this Yoda. This was a Yoda candy dispenser. And inside of this guy were these little tiny sugar pellets. Like, they remind me of, like, I don't know, almost like the flavor of Runts. But what you would do is you would turn this and pop, out would pop your little Empire Strikes Back candy nugget. I always love mentioning the candy things because that's what I remember, you know? That's how I get this toy hunting physique, is all the candy. But some of this stuff, like, I'm not into getting figures graded of my collection because mine were severely played with, and they're still played with by my children. But holy moly, look at this 80 plus graded Empire Strikes Back Yoda. How cool is that? I could literally be in this basement for days. There is so much here. The Burger King run of the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi glasses. When you would go to Burger King and you would buy a value meal back in, I guess it would have been 83. When you would, 83 for Return of the Jedi and 80 for the Empire Strikes Back. When you would buy a value meal, you could give them an extra $5 and out in a box would come this amazing Star Wars cup. Look at how nice they are. You do not get items like this anymore from a Burger King. You just don't, you know. These stuff like this, because it's breakable, doesn't last. I'm actually afraid I'm gonna break something. We are gonna talk to Chevy here in a few minutes about his collection and what to him is probably the most special and probably has the coolest story. Wait till you hear that. It's really neat. But there is something here that I have never seen before. And I asked Chevy what it was. I said, what was this? And the only thing he could tell me was it was a stripped down Death Star droid. And you know, that shiny silver Death Star droid with the big giant black eyes. Maybe we could put a picture of the non-stripped down one right here. I love doing that. Look how neat that is. It looks like that was factory done. This does not look like even that tack in the back. You know, that's a rivet. You know, the rivets that they push into them, they always get that little dimple on them. Look, it almost looks like this was a uncirculated prototype or something. Chevy didn't say that to me, but that's just what I'm, you know, assuming by looking at it. But how neat is that? So I gave you a little glimpse. Now I want you to talk to the man. We're gonna talk to the man responsible for all this crazy awesomeness. Let's go have a chat with Chevy over near his Popeye the Sailor Man arcade sign. What do you say?
Escape pod landing. Where am I?
It's the new Star Wars Land of the Jawas that you put together. Action figures sold separately. You can move the action lever and make the Jawa capture R2-D2.
R2, are you all right? What are they doing to you?
You can raise the elevator and make R2-D2 disappear into the sandcrawler.
Hang on, R2. I'm right behind you. Me too.
Kenner's new Star Wars Land of the Jawas. Action figures each sold separately.
Wow, I got a bad feeling about this. Look at this mint condition 1978 Han Solo blaster. How cool is that? Wow, this is the best replica of this weapon. Wouldn't you say, Chevy?
And it was one I wasn't allowed to have as a kid.
See, you know what?
Santa didn't bring firearms to this house.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what he did bring, which is one of the coolest things that I have seen here. I mean, you have tons of awesome stuff, but this, I have been looking for items from this for and you can't find anything.
And that just showed up this past week.
Is that right?
Found it on eBay.
Okay, so anyone who went to school late 70s, early 80s, I think that you'll remember these. Come and meet the letter people, come and be part of the family. Words are made of letter people, A, B, C, D, follow me. The letter people, that was how we were taught to make letter sounds, you know, like C for cotton candy, B, beautiful buttons, you know, M, I don't even, munching mouth. Munching mouth.
Oh, teeth, funny feet, yeah, that's how we learned how to make words.
This is so neat. These were, every week when you would get to school, there would be a new blow up letter people that you were learning for that week. And at my school, it was like an Easter egg hunt. They would hide that letter person, then you'd have to scavenge around your classroom to find it. This is hunting nostalgia. This is right out of kindergarten for me. Wow,
First
dude.
grade for me, yeah.
This is so neat. It's an unused textbook. So neat. Oh my gosh, letter people, so neat. All right. I'll talk forever. But man, you have some awesome stuff here.
Thanks, bud.
Why? Like, I understand these were your childhood toys. Yeah. But I mean, that's where the nostalgia feeling comes from you.
Right, absolutely. Most people have focuses. I collect on stuff just that brings back nostalgia. The letter people book.
Exactly.
I loved those when I was a kid. You know, all the Star Wars items that I have.
You would say Star Wars is your favorite?
Yeah, I would have to say so. The vintage lines.
Sure.
You know, to be honest with you, I just started getting back into this about 2 years ago because in '97, I actually sold off all my original toys to pay off college debts. So don't ever be a responsible adult.
Wow. Oh, that has to hurt.
And speaking of responsible adult, I have these for you.
Oh, dude,
And I know
thank you.
your wife likes Mickey Mouse.
She
so
does.
She might dig it.
Wow, look at that, man. That's so neat. An original Mickey Mouse watch. What? This is probably from the 70s. I mean,
I would think so.
Oh, that's so neat. And millions of unusual creatures lurking everywhere.
That's
the
right,
Muscle
the
Man.
Muscle Man.
I love it. Oh, I love that, man. Just you watching and thinking of me and doing that means the
Yeah.
world to me. That means the world to
Not
me.
a problem.
So now Star Wars, would you say that brings back memories with your mother
yeah.
buying you items?
Well, Star Wars to me brings back memories of Hill's Department Store.
Oh, this guy knows he knows
It
what to
also
say.
brings back memories of me and my best friend Jeff.
Okay.
If I didn't have it, he had it, and vice versa. Okay.
Was there some trading going on there?
No, there was
No
never
trading.
trading. However, this right here, this is his. He gave this to me when I moved back into
Is
this
that
house.
right?
This is his. It's still sealed. It's still in the box.
Does it have a tag on it from any stores?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a pennies.
Is that right? Oh, that's neat.
Let's see.
Oh, 1983 Kenner Rancor. Oh, look at that. Look how much, so in 83, look how much this Rancor was, and it's crossed out. I don't know if you can see that. It's crossed out, it says $18.99. So this guy probably hit a lot, and I mean a lot, of Return of the Jedi figures ended up on the end cap.
Oh, yeah.
Like they were like 3 for $5. Like I'm not sure why, but that is nostalgia. That is the first toy line I remember getting at the store was Return of the Jedi. Look at how cool that is. That is so awesome, man.
And see,
oh
and
my
like
gosh.
you just said about price tags too. That's another thing that, you know, when we were growing up here in Monaca, we had Woolworths, we had Hills, we had Pennies, Sears. These card backs, they have Hills price tags on them.
Oh wow, this is a really
Here,
man.
let me see if I can get it up for you.
Now, Department 23, I've mentioned before, that was the Hills department store. That was their toy section. And at Hills, that was the biggest section in the
Absolutely.
entire store.
Absolutely.
It was literally like a toy store inside of a store. It was so neat.
But yeah, I mean,
Oh, this is crazy.
this is the, you know, the card backs are actually, people can go crazy with that. But there's different price tags in there. And I was actually looking, I mean, I think there's a Zayres.
Oh, what was Zayres? I don't remember that.
We had a Zayre down in, I think it was Baden. It was just another big department store.
Look at that.
I mean, there's Woolworths price tags in there. There's
Hills department
Hills.
store.
I mean,
Zayres. Okay, wow, that is really neat. I love tags as well.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
And that's one of the things that also brings back memories because, let's face it, these things were everywhere. You could get them. I've seen them with thrift drug tags. I mean, you name it.
Yep,
They
you're right.
were everywhere because it was a phenomenon.
Yeah, it was it absolutely was. Now this is unpunched. This was never on an actual rack. So to me, that says that 2-1B, the healer droid, look at how neat that is. He was in a bargain bin. To me, that's what that says.
Possibly.
You know, or he was never circulated at that. You know, he was never actually on the shelf. But you got a couple of these that have been unpunched. Really cool. These paper items, they don't last. And look, as a kid, you tell me you don't want to scratch off the ones you have.
Exactly.
Isn't that awesome?
Exactly.
It's like, oh man, I could look at that for days.
Absolutely.
That is so neat. That is so, so neat.
But yeah, Star Wars brought back a lot of memories. You know, just like I said, at different stores. Memories of my mom, us just going up. You know, it just brings back good times.
Good memories, good times. That's that feeling that you cannot duplicate, you cannot replicate. It is your own personal feeling of nostalgia. That is so awesome. You had a PKE meter. What? Is there any? Or first off, are there any ghosts down here right now?
Let's see. No, I think we're good.
Okay, good. Now you told me a really interesting fact about. I'm sure I'm setting it off
You're
in some form. Look at this. So now you like movie props.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so tell me this story that you just told me about the PKE meter. Everyone remembers Egon looking around for ghosts in the bottom of the library.
That's a pretty good Egon.
I do a lot.
I'm impressed. 21 years ago, when I first got into wanting to do my own proton pack, I started.
Whoa,
you know,
wait a
looking
minute. Do you have pictures of those?
Somewhere.
Okay.
I will try to get them to you.
Okay, if that's possible, we'll put those right here. Okay, so go on. I'm sorry.
So, you know, you go looking around, you know, in the year 2000 on the internet, everything. that thing, which has actually been in other movies, it's just not the PKE meter. I think it was in They Live. I think it was.
Oh, with the hot Scott.
Yeah, well, they actually used it like a communicator. They actually held it up and talked into it. It was a generic prop.
I remember that, though.
Yeah.
I do remember that. I love that movie.
But those things actually started off as an Iona shoe polisher. The prop company, Modern Props, I believe the name was, there used to be a hole here and you would put your brush in. This was all added. These are all added. The on-off switch was here and you would just...
That's what you use to polish your shoes?
That's what you would polish your shoes with. From like the 60s, 70s, something like that.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. Well, like in, everyone knows, well, most extreme nerds like this guy know, in episode 1, Qui-Gon Jinn is talking to Obi-Wan with a Gillette razor.
Yes.
I mean, that's so neat. Yeah. That is cool. This episode's Find of the Week is brought to you by Wildcard Video Games in Niles, Ohio. My buddy Mike buys and sells the feeling of nostalgia through video games. I am playing Gauntlet 2 right now, and it's even better than it was in the 80s. Maybe I'm a little bit better at it now. But Mike is an awesome guy, and he has an absolutely fantastic store in Niles, Ohio. You have to check it out. That's where I got my NES, and that is exactly where you should get yours. This is our Find of the Week. See you next time. Now, I don't buy any toy post-1990s, 97 for a specific reason. I mean, there's just so much. But, dude, Jose Canseco bet. Tell me, you didn't pay money for this. That's one of my favorite scenes of Turtles.
The whole reason why I got them is because, I mean, Nika actually did a good job on those.
Oh, they're spectacular.
Yeah,
this is heavy. This sucker is heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could bludgeon somebody with Raph here. That's really super neat. But, oh, man, let me see this. Look at this. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. 1977.
Yep.
Rubber.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even right there in the back, 20th Century Fox, 1977.
Can I hold it?
Absolutely. And see, the thing is, though, it's not perfect. There's scratches. It was used. It was loved. And that's the thing I like about the stuff that I get. I don't want it completely beat up.
Sure.
Somebody actually enjoyed that.
Oh, well, your figures are pretty darn near mint.
We're getting there. I mean,
does it smell like 77?
Oh, yeah, kind of.
I haven't sniffed a toy for a while. I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations, and this is my counterpart, R2-D2. I mean, even if you don't know Star Wars, you know that saying.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Dude, that is so neat. And you have so many awesome things here. But there is one item, and I love Rowdy Roddy Piper. I absolutely
How can you not love Roddy?
I mean, he was I think it was from 1985 to 94. He was never pinned.
No.
He was never pinned in the WWF.
He actually refused to lose.
To lose that way.
Absolutely.
He would lose via disqualification, other ways, but it wasn't until he wrestled Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title that Roddy Piper had his shoulders pinned to the mat. My two favorite wrestlers of all time, and it was one of those times when the heel and the face swapped sides, like at the beginning of the match, okay? Roddy Piper was the bad guy, Bret Hart was the good guy, but then throughout the match, the hot rod, it was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And you have the most, there's a lot of times that the hot rod was, making history, but when he hauled off and he crushed Jimmy Superfly Snuka with
the coconut.
Oh my, first off, whenever I was watching that as a kid, I thought he was dead. I mean, I thought he killed Superfly. And I loved, back then as a kid, I hated Roddy Piper. I
loved him. Loved him. Didn't matter.
Even as a villain?
I loved it. Well, I got a chance to meet Roddy at a convention in Monroeville, Steel City Convention. And of course, I had the coconut with me. I waited an hour in line. I spoke to him for a good 25 minutes, and he told me the whole story about the coconut. Because, of course, growing up now with wrestling, everything's really gimmicked. So I said, Roddy, you got to tell me the story about the coconut. I mean, was it rigged? Was it fixed? And the first thing he goes, Back then, you couldn't just go back into the rigged coconut store, son, and get a coconut. So he actually told me the story. He was trying to get heat with S.Conca. S.Conca wouldn't talk to him. Didn't have any idea what was going on. He just told somebody to go out and get bananas and this and that, and he had a coconut, and that wide puka shell headband that Snooka used to wear. He just hauled back and reared and cracked him, and he headed for the hills because Snooka literally for about a month, 2 months, or whatever it was, literally wanted to kill him.
I am sure
Snooka was not expecting it, didn't know what was going on.
Oh my goodness! Now that is nostalgia. I mean, that is a memory that even non-wrestling fans remember. The Snooka Piper coconut incident, and you. Rest in peace, Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
he's no longer with us.
Absolutely.
But you have an autographed Roddy Piper coconut. Now,
and it's busted too,
Oh well,
that's how I had to get the milk out of it.
That is too neat, dude. You have so many awesome things.
He was one of the sweetest guys in the world. Just, you would
down to earth.
Oh my, hey, how's your father? How's your mom and dad doing? What do you do for a living? Just. It's genuinely sweetheart of a man.
It's really cool when you meet your heroes and they live up to the expectations.
Absolutely.
I had lunch with Bret Hart in Pittsburgh in 2011, and he was the coolest guy ever. Well, dude, thank you so much for letting me do
Not
this.
a problem,
I appreciate it very
Thanks
much.
for coming down.
Oh, thank you. This is Hunting Nostalgia.
Let's go hunting nostalgia.
Come and meet the letter people. Come and be part of the family. Can you believe Chevy had letter people memorabilia? I've never seen anything like it. And after I saw that from Chevy, I went up to my old kindergarten at the Holy Sepulchre School, and I asked the teacher there, I said, do you still have the letter people, the big giant blow up letter people? And she said she does. And I made a bargain with her. I said, if she lets me borrow them for the show, this hasn't happened yet, but if she lets me borrow them, I will fix them because they're all deflated, and they still use the letter people, which is cool. It's how you learn letters, like B is for button, different stuff like that. It's how you learn letters, and they still use it. So I'm gonna fix up their letter people. They'll let me use them to play with, and to show you on the show. And I feel like that is hunting nostalgia. That is hunting nostalgia. Anyways, I do appreciate all of you coming out and watching this ridiculousness. Coming over to Chevy's house with me today was really, really awesome. I want to thank Wildcard Video Games for sponsoring the Find of the Week with that awesome, awesome video game. The NES console, that was one of the greatest game consoles ever created. And my uncles barely ever let me play it. Thanks for watching Hunting Nostalgia. See you next time. Every wrestling fan knows what Stone Cold Steve Austin was famous for. I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to do it, but I want you to just think of what he was famous for, his gesture, his hand gesture that he was famous for. Well, this moron, for some unknown reason, decided to buy a big giant foam one. I bought a huge foam finger, huge, and I got home and I tried hiding it. My mother found it. She found my Stone Cold Steve Austin foam finger, and needless to say, she made it into a fist. She snipped it. I would love to have that. I threw it away, but mothers, they had to put up with this craziness.
Oh, yeah.
I have no clue what I'm doing, but I do it